Okay, time for the news that's not fit to print. Overseas, Greece is now requiring anybody over the age of 60 to be vaccinated. If you're not vaccinated, then you're going to pay $100 in fines, or 100 euros in fines, excuse me, which translates into $115 each month until you get the vaccine, starting January 16th. Over in over in Germany, apparently in Germany, you are allowed to have assisted suicide or some effect like that. It's a constitutional right, as a matter of fact. But now they've just passed a new requirement that you have to be vaccinated before you're allowed to die because of an illness. Interesting, makes sense. You got to be healthy in order to die. I don't know. In Oroville, California, declares independence from the state and the federal government from any mandates. It says they are a republic and want to be treated as such. This one is scary. Wikipedia is going to start removing all entries made about genocide that was conducted by the communistic parties throughout history. As we know that China and Russia are the big two names that come to mind that conducted an atrocious number of genocide. But this is also going to include Soviet Union, China, Ukraine, Cambodia, Cuba, Yugoslavia, Romania, East Germany, and North Korea. All that is going to be removed from the history books on Wikipedia. They said that it's just biased information, that not the whole story is being told. I don't know. If anybody is like me, raised in the 80s, communism was scary to me growing up, so maybe I'm just a little gun shy about it all. Okay, first case of Omicron variant has risen up in California. A person traveled to South Africa, came home, was tested, and found that they had the Omicron variant. Now, this is interesting because it was the same day that I posted that there was no variants, Omicron variant in the United States. What was that, 2 days ago? So it popped right up. Of course it would. I mean, I was kind of expecting it to happen really quick, that somebody would get it. What, we discovered the virus, I don't know, a week ago. New York Mayor de Blasio is opening up little centers where addicts can go in and get supervised injections of their, I guess, drug of choice. They have to bring in their own drugs. They can't, the center isn't going to provide the drugs for them, but there'll be clean hypodermic needles. There'll be information on how to get clean, and I guess the nurse will help administer these drugs. It's supposed to help with people becoming overdosed in their drug of choice. I find this really strange. I don't know. Doctors are suing their employers in the healthcare industry because I guess like the hospitals are restricting the type of medications doctors can give for the virus. The doctors want to have the freedoms they used to have to be able to treat their patients as they saw fit and not be required by their employer to give out specific types of medications. I suppose the doctors feel like they have a degree in medicine and they should be able to treat their patients the way they feel. This is going to, I guess, in Virginia, and the doctor said that, you know what, they just wanted doctors to be able to be doctors, which I guess kind of makes sense, instead of some overlord telling us what we have to get and can't get. In Australia, there was 3 Aboriginal kids that were detained in a quarantine center. Now, these quarantine centers, I've seen pictures of them. They basically look like prison. They got gates and fences and electrified fences. Well, 3 of these Aboriginal kids, teenage kids, escaped. Now, they were found, fortunately. That's good news. Now, what it is they didn't actually test positive for the virus. What happened was, if I didn't say, this is in Australia, what happened was they were exposed to the virus. They were tested for the virus, found it to be negative. They were put in this quarantine camp, and kids being kids, they didn't want to be around, so they left. Well, fortunately, they did a huge manhunt. I mean, really a huge manhunt, and were able to recapture them and test them again. Of course, they tested negative, and they were safely back into their concentration camp. The FDA has submitted a FOIA request, which is a Freedom of Information Act, asking the FDA to release all its documentation on their vaccines, the newly developed Moderna and all that vaccines. There was immediately a lawsuit applied, and now what we have found out is that the FDA is required to give out the paperwork. They're going to give out 500 pages per month, and it's going to take 55 years for all the pages to actually be distributed, because the information is 329,000 pages. If you do the math, that is 55 years. So we're pretty excited that the doctors who are actually asking for the FOIA request probably won't even be alive to review it, to see what's in it and all the information, so we can actually administer this safely. Landowners in Texas are demanding that the federal government start providing them with money. What's happening is immigrants are coming across into their properties, their land, and these immigrants are tearing up fences, stealing cars, driving off, busting through their fences and gates, tearing up land, tearing up hunting land. You know, I guess they have their hunting stands, and these immigrants are coming in, sleeping in these stands. Currently, what is happening is the federal government is providing monies to the sheriff and police departments to help provide care for the immigrants coming across, but there's no money coming in to the landowners themselves. Of course, the sheriffs and the police departments want to share the money as much as they can, but the landowners say, no, that's not fair. We got to have the police departments funded, so there's a police department to be able to care for everybody. So there's rumors that there may be some lawsuits involved with this. We'll see how that develops. I'll keep you apprised. And then finally, I went back and forth on whether I wanted to cover this or not, but obviously there was a shooting in a school, high school in Michigan. A 15-year-old child apparently was given a gun for his birthday or something. It was a gift, and he took it into school and killed several people, injured several more. This is another tragic story. The school officials had identified there was a problem with this child, called the parents in, and then let him go back into class. So they knew there was a problem, but they apparently didn't take much action against it. So we're going to keep an eye on this story, see where it goes. I've been looking at the mainstream media sites, and I haven't really seen any information on this. I've seen some local news coverage. Now, of course, I'm off grid, so I don't always get all the information. I get my information off the internet, so it's kind of limited. If you have seen any of this on mainstream media sites, let me know. I appreciate it. Put in the comments below. So that's all your news that's not fit to print. Thanks for watching.